Hello and welcome. We start again with another boring part. I've decided to do things simultaneously. I'll continue giving lessons on coordinate geometry, and of course, I think I should give a lesson on quadratic equations. Okay, so quadratic equations, very famous. I mean, you will never do away with them. You'll find them in mathematics everywhere you go, and they've got their applications. But mine now is just to talk about the mathematics part of it. The application will come later. So quadratic equations, I can't say that better. Quadratic equations. Sometimes I try to speak, but the words cannot come out properly. So a function f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. This kind of a function is called a quadratic function. Okay, it is a quadratic function, and a quadratic function is one of the polynomials. Okay, that's also a different topic. Okay, this is a quadratic function. Here a, b, and c are constants. These are constants. You know what that means? It just means that these are numbers of real value. Okay, real numbers. These are real numbers. Okay, so let's say if y is equal to f of x and y is equal to 0, then we have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And this kind of expression is what we call a quadratic equation. Look here, this is a quadratic function because it is f of x is equal to x squared plus bx plus c, or y is equal to x squared plus bx plus c. This is a function. But when f of x is equal to 0, or when y is equal to 0, this expression becomes a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic function. So here we have some examples of quadratic equations. 2x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, this is a quadratic equation. A is 2, b is 1, and c is 1. Ax squared plus 2x is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. A is 1, meaning the coefficient of x squared. B is 2, okay, and c is 0. We don't have c here. Okay, then 3x squared plus 5x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is also a quadratic equation. A is 3 and b is 5 and c is negative 1. Then minus x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0. This is also a quadratic equation. A is negative 1, b is 1, and c is 1. Then we have x squared minus x plus 4 is equal to 0. This is also a quadratic equation. A is 1, b is negative 1, c is 4. Okay, so and so on and so forth. These are few examples of quadratic equations. Okay, now let's talk about the methods of solving quadratic equations. There are three methods of solving quadratic equations. These are the discrete one. Okay, there are other methods, of course, which will be numerical methods, but these are the discrete method. Okay, so the first one, factorization method, and completing the square method is the second one, and the third one, the quadratic formula. Okay, you just need to know the formula and solve the equation. Okay, so we are going to talk about factorization method as our first one. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that so much. I'll do it in examples. Okay, first of all, we have the quadratic equation x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, this is b. Okay, this is b, the coefficient of x, and this is c. Okay, so here we need to know the sum. Okay, b is equal to the sum of the factors. Okay, the sum of the factors. Factors come from C, okay? So let alpha and beta be the factors of C, okay? Meaning when you multiply alpha and beta, you can get C, okay? And then when you add alpha and beta, you can get the sum, which is B, okay? Now, this expression holds if A is equal to 1 in most cases. If A is equal to 1, okay? When A is equal to 1, just C is equal to alpha times beta, because A is 1, okay? And B is equal to alpha plus beta. But there are instances when A is not equal to 1, okay? So C will be, the product will be alpha times beta times A, which is the coefficient of x squared, okay? So first of all, for us to factorize, we need to know the factors of C. Then, and also we add those factors to get the sum. So let's see that in examples. It will be more elaborative and easier. It will be simple. So x squared minus 9x plus 18 is equal to 0. A. B, x squared plus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. C. 3x squared plus 14x minus 49 is equal to 0. Look here, the coefficient is 1. Here is 1. That is straightforward, you will see that. But here the coefficient is 3, okay? So we need to do some more work. Here we go. A. X squared minus 9x plus 18 is equal to 0, okay? So what is A? A is 1, okay? That's the coefficient of x squared. Then B is negative 9 and C is 18, okay? Now, what are the factors? Factors are these numbers, okay? Okay, constants. These numbers that when you multiply them, they give you the number, okay? Like the factors of 18, they go into 18 without giving a remainder, okay? Okay, numbers, okay, that go into 18 without giving you a remainder, okay? So 18 is divisible by its factors, okay? So let's say positive 1 and negative goes into 18, okay? Positive 1 or negative 1 goes into 18. How many times? 18 times without giving you a remainder. Positive 2 or negative 2 goes into 18. How many times? 9 times without giving you a remainder, okay? Right. Negative 3 or positive 3 goes into 18. How many times? 6 times without giving you a remainder, okay? And positive 6 and negative 6 goes into 18. How many times? 3 times without giving you a remainder. And 18 itself goes into 18. How many times? 1 time without giving you a remainder. Now, the most important thing is on these factors, what two factors, if you add them together, are going to give you negative 9. And if you multiply them, they are going to give you positive 18, okay? So when we look at this, okay, and we scrutinize thoroughly, we are going to see that negative 3 and negative 6, okay? When you add negative 3, okay, when you add negative 3 and negative 6, surely you will get negative 9, okay? And when we multiply negative 6 and negative 3, surely you will get positive 18, okay? Because negative and negative gives you a positive. So we have chosen negative 3 and negative 6, okay, from the factors, because that's what gives us our desired answers. So when you add these two factors together, negative 3 and negative 6, you are going to get negative 9. When you multiply negative 3 and negative 6, you are going to get positive 18, okay? So we just come here to the equation. So x squared minus 3, okay, x minus 6x, okay, plus 18, all right? Nothing changes here. So our first factor is negative 3, so negative 3. Our second, negative 6. So x squared minus 3x minus 6x plus 18 is equal to 0. Okay, surely when you do the operation, you're going to get negative 9x. So x squared minus 3x minus 6x plus 18 is equal to 0. So here now we group in two terms. Okay, we group this one's here. We can group the terms, all right? And when we group that, what is the most common term is x, okay? So we can factor it out, we take x out. Okay, we remain with x minus 3. What is the common term here is minus 6, okay? Because minus 6 can go into 18. How many times? Minus 3. So we take minus 6 out, and we have x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x minus 3 here and x minus 3 is common, so we take it out, we factor x minus 3 out, x minus 3, x minus 3, we take it out, then we remain with x minus 6, okay? So x minus 3 and x minus 6 is equal to 0. So either x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 6 is equal to 0. Either x is equal to 3 or x is equal to 6, all right? Now we can have a simple example within the main example, which is, simple example within the main example. Look, x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Let's solve by factorization method. What are the factors of 1? It's just negative 1 and 1. Negative 1 goes into 1, gives the answer negative 1. 1 goes into 1, 1. Okay. Now, what are these two numbers? If we add them together, they give us 2. Okay. Sure, we know it's 1. 1 plus 1 gives us 2. And of course, if we multiply 1 and 1, we're going to get 1. Okay. 1 times 1 gives us 1. So x squared plus x, which is 1 here, and this is 1. So x squared plus 1 plus 1, all right? So x squared plus x, okay? This will give us 2x, all right? Plus 1 is equal to 0, okay? So x, when we group these ones, all right? We can group them. We group them like that. So what is the common term here? X, okay? X. We remain with x here. We remain with 1 here. So x plus 1. Then here, the common term is 1 here. All right? 1. X plus 1. So we have x plus 1 as a common term. We factor it out. And then we remain with x plus 1. Okay? X plus 1. So either x plus 1 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. See, x plus 1 is equal to 0. So it's the same. So in both cases, x is equal to negative 1. All right? So here we have just one answer. Okay? We don't have two answers. Of course, it's a quadratic equation. It means it has two roots. Okay? It has two answers. Either real or complex roots. A quadratic equation has two roots. Okay? Either real or complex roots. Okay? Now B. Which one is B here? This is B. X squared plus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. So we go and find the factors. Okay? Negative 1 and positive 1 goes into 4. Of course, we know. How many times? 4 times. Okay? 2 goes into 4. How many times? 4 times. 4 goes into 4 itself. How many times? 1. Okay? And then we have, these are pairs. Okay? Either negative goes into that number or a positive. Okay? So that's positive or negative, positive, negative, positive, or negative. Okay? So now, our challenge is to find what two of these factors, when we add them together, we get 5. When we multiply them, we get 4. Okay? Of course, we have positive here. So it's very easy for us to know that when we pick 1 times 1 times 4, we're going to get 4. Then 1 plus 4, we're going to get 5, which is the sum, the coefficient of x, okay, which is the sum of the factors. Okay, so when we add them together, we get 5. When we multiply them, we get 4. Okay, so here it is 1 and 4. We cannot take the negative, okay, the negative part. If we were to take -1 and -4, when we multiply them, we're going to get 4, of course. But when we add them, we're going to get -5. So that's why we pick the positive ones. Okay, so now that we know our factors, so x squared plus x, okay, why are we saying x here? Because the coefficient of x is 1. Okay, x squared plus x plus 4x, okay, plus 4 is equal to 0. Then we group them. Then what is common here? X, okay, x plus 1. What is common here? 4. We remain with x plus 1. Okay, when we factor this out, 4 is common here, so if we take it outside, we remain with x plus 1. X is common here, we take it outside, we remain with 1x, then plus 1. Okay, so x plus 1 is common here, we take it outside, x plus 1. Okay, we remain with x plus 4 is equal to 0. Either x plus 1 is equal to 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. X is equal to -1 or x is equal to -4. Okay, now see, this one is a bit different. 3x squared plus 14x minus 49 is equal to 0. Okay, if a is not equal to 1, okay, for a greater than 1, the product is a times c, okay, which is 3 times c is minus 49. 3 times minus 49, we get minus 147. Okay, every time when a is not equal to 1, we multiply a and c for us to get the product. So the product is 3 times minus 49, which is minus 147. So our challenge is for us to find the factors of minus 147. Okay, so we know that even minus 147 itself, okay, or 147, so to say, plus or minus, it's also a factor. All right, and of course we know that 1 is a factor of every number. Okay, plus or minus 1. But we can't list all of them. Our challenge is for us to find those two factors. If you add them together, you get plus 14x, and you multiply them together, you get minus 147. So those factors are, look, 21 minus 7, you get 14, okay? So minus 7 and plus 21. When you multiply minus 7 and plus 21, you get minus 147, okay? So we come to the equation 3x squared minus 7x, okay, plus 21. So that when you do the operation, you get 14x, okay? So 3x squared minus 7x plus 21x minus 49 is equal to 0. Then we group them again. When we group them, what is common here? It's x. You remain with 3x, okay? X times 3x is 3x squared. So x is common, and when you take x outside, you just remain with minus 7. Here what is common? It is 7, okay? 7 into 21, it's 3, okay? X is already inside, so 3x. X into let's say 7 into 49 is minus 7, okay? Because there is minus here. So 7 into minus 49 is minus 7, okay? So what is common? 3x minus 7, 3x minus 7. You take it outside. What do you remain with? X plus 7, okay? X plus 7. So either 3x minus 7 is equal to 0 or x plus 7 is equal to 0. 3x is equal to 7. When you take 7 to the other side of the equation. Okay, 3x is equal to 7, or x is equal to minus 7. You take x to the other side of the equation. So x is equal to 7 over 3, or x is equal to minus 7. Okay, yes, thank you. That was it. Our introduction to our quadratic equations. Yeah, I hope I explained. So see you in the next lesson. But you can comment, you can add more. It's about sharing what you know. So thank you.